What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, 2 p.m., and I'm live here. Ooh, that's a little bright. Let me adjust that for y'all. There we go. How is that? Does that look better? I figure it does. Good afternoon. I'm Dustin. Thank you for clicking on this live. I appreciate you so very much. Today, we're talking about staying motivated because being motivated is so very important. And what comes along with staying motivated or helps me stay motivated is staying consistent, because oftentimes we worry about perfection. I'm not doing this the same way every day. Or we look at the consistency, or we're always looking at the scale every day. The scale is one of the biggest motivating or one of the biggest killers of motivation. I can't believe I only lost 1 pound this week. I can't believe that I'm up 0.2 pounds today. What did I do wrong yesterday? And that's not good. That kills motivation. It kills consistency. Because what is consistency? Consistency is doing your best every day, even though every day you're not going to be your best. Does that make sense? Maybe it does. Let me know in the comments if I'm talking and making any sense at all, because, I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy here trying to relay the experience that I've had along the way in this ketogenic lifestyle. So, again, thank you all for being here. Today, we're talking about, again, staying motivated. And what keeps me motivated is doing this type of thing here, talking with you, interacting with everybody, having a chance to build community, because community is so very important, as we see in so many facets of our life. Community is church, it's college, it's friends, it's even if you're, a league of sports of some flavor, if you're on a bowling league, that kind of stuff. Those things, that's community that keeps you consistent. Like a bowling league, make sure you're bowling every week. Jennifer Lucas is here. I am able to weigh daily. It says, I'm able to weigh daily, but focus on the trends. But it's quite counterproductive for a great many people. 100%. Because if you get on the scale today and you're down 2 pounds, you're ecstatic. You're like, yes, 2 pounds today. I lost 2 pounds yesterday. And then tomorrow, you get on the scale and those 2 pounds have crept back in. You're devastated. And you're very likely to just give up. Maybe not the first time, maybe not the second time, but how many times has what you've done on the scale or the number on that scale impacted your thought process, impacted your uh impacted your just your outlook, your overall mood, how your food choices for that day? Jennifer, have you ever had a situation where been on the scale, it's gone up, and then you're just like, well, today I might as well just go to do whatever, go to Dairy Queen? I've had those thoughts. McDonald's, whatever helps you navigate or helps you feel better. Something, we all have food triggers. And if you're lucky enough to not have a food trigger, that's commendable. That's amazing. But we all have some kind of trigger that pushes us in a negative direction, that tries to keep us from being motivated. Because motivation is just a part of, a consistency process. I mean, like I said, sometimes I feel like I'm not getting my own, I'm not conveying my thoughts the way that I want to. Because for me and how I stay motivated, again, is coming on here and talking with all of you. Jeremiah is here. Howdy. Motivation for me is usually the scale and how I feel when I get out of bed in the morning. I made a keto cake in a cup today, needed chocolate. So you needed the chocolate. You went for a option for you that made sense, and that's going to help you keep motivated. So that's one of the things, like, if I get out of bed and I feel like trash, I feel like if I didn't sleep well enough, if my joints are achy, I am at this point in the game thinking back in my head, okay, well, what did I do yesterday? What did I eat yesterday? Did I do anything that I don't normally do? Did I have any exercise did I do any exercise that I don't normally do? Did I go above and beyond what I normally do? How did that how am I feeling today? How does that how did what I did yesterday impact how I feel today? And learning how your body reacts to things is a huge part of the motivation that keeps some, like myself and what Jeremiah said. How did I feel when I woke up today? Like yesterday, I had some the little like the tiny zero carb, like the low carb tortillas. I had some of those and I had them with some chili and cheese. I made some chili the other night and I mixed in some cheese and threw it on there, and I had probably more of those than I should have. And when I woke up today, my joints were achy, or like last night I slept weird. My shoulder was bothering me. Like I've been favoring this shoulder and sleeping on this shoulder, you know. Jennifer says, absolutely. I used to be really strict before going to the doctor to reduce the embarrassment. Then I then I'd be unsatisfied with the results and drive straight to fast food. Yeah, exactly. Understanding what our triggers are. Like I've talked about this before. A couple of months ago, I was at Kroger doing grocery shopping, and and I was frustrated by they had just installed these new self checkouts and they hadn't really calibrated them yet. At least it didn't seem, because they weren't scanning the products correctly. I was having a lot of trouble getting them to actually read the barcodes. I would scan something and then it would put it on the belt, and then it would go down half the belt and would come back and delete like I didn't even scan it. And I'm having all this difficulty, and I'm having the lady come over and help me, and she's scanning things and putting her codes in and all that stuff. And it took like an hour. It took an hour to get through a half a cart of groceries, where if that would have been a person, it would have been, 5 minutes and we would have been gone. But that hour long stress and struggle was enough to, like I said, stress me out and irritate me enough that when I got out to the car and got my groceries put away, I look over, there's a McDonald's in the parking lot. So it's right there. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what? I could just go ahead and get some McDonald's fries, a Coke Zero, some chicken nuggets, and I'm could go home and I bet I'll feel a lot better than how I feel right now. And that's a devastating thought to have, especially if you're just starting out, because if you're just starting out, you're more likely to fall victim to that kind of mindset. Even still 8 years in, I still have these issues where if I'm feeling that way, I have to stop. I'll text the wife, "Hey, I'm looking at McDonald's. I had a stressed out time. I'm looking at it. It wants me to come get, McDonald's wants me to come there and get some chicken nuggets, or I'm stressed out and I want to get some." She'll be like, "You won't feel better tomorrow. You won't actually feel better in the long run. Don't do it." And she's right. I won't feel better tomorrow. I feel like I let myself down if I allow that stress and that trigger for me to go over there. Not only am I spending the money I don't want to spend at McDonald's, then I'm going to eat the food that I don't want to eat. It's going to negatively impact my goals. It's going to undermine my motivation. And then I'm going to feel bad when I wake up, like Jeremiah said. Jeremiah said, it's all dependent on how I feel when I wake up. How do you feel when you wake up? That's one of the most important questions. And then typically, how you feel when you wake up has a lot to do with what you ate the day before. Lynn is here. Thank you, 22Q Cat, for being here. I'm on the treadmill and listening. All right. Not a lot to see, just me, like a floating head. Jennifer Lucas, Nan Catlin is here. Thank you, Nan, for being here. Good morning. It's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure where you are, Nan. It is not morning here, but that's okay. I love that people can find this all over the world and all over the place. Jeremiah says fast food doesn't sound good anymore, but when I drive by Culver's and see anything pecan, I have to debate. I have to debate stopping. That's the thing. Like I would think the same thing about Dairy Queen, just because I used to pass Dairy Queen all the time. So there's a Dairy Queen in the town where I live, and it's on the main strip. Drive through, pass it every day on my way home from work. And we used to have to stop and get it like once a week. Just get a couple of blizzards, some dilly bars or whatever for the kids. Bring those home. We're all having a good time eating that after dinner. And then then after a while of being keto, we just never went. And then one day we're like, you know what, that sounds good. Let's go ahead and have an off-plan day. Let's go get a blizzard. And then you realize how not good it tastes. Like Dairy Queen, if it isn't for the stuff, their ice cream isn't even ice cream anymore. It doesn't even have a flavor. It's just cold. Not really anything going on to it. You just eat it, and then you're like, well, that wasn't even worth the money. It wasn't even worth the effort of going to get it. And I find that a lot of times, like that's like with McDonald's, like it doesn't taste good anymore. Cindy's here. Good afternoon, Cindy. Thank you for joining me today. But that's the thing. That's the thing. Like understanding that some of these old haunts, like McDonald's, Culver's, Dairy Queen, whatever it was that you used to stop in and pick up candy bar at the checkout line, whatever it was, isn't going to taste as good as it used to. And I've even found that even anymore sweet stuff, like even if it's something like a keto chow creamy, I've noticed that even eating a keto chow creamy, which keto chow is a company that I that I'm an affiliate with, and they make these powdered shake packets, and you can make them into like a shake. But basically, what they are is you add your own fat, like so you add butter, heavy cream, that kind of stuff to it if you want to. And you dictate how much fat goes into it. And then you would either put it in the refrigerator, you can drink it like a warm shake, you can make it into an ice cream with something like a creamy, you can make it into all kinds of different recipes. But I found with the creamy, I'll sit there and like after like 4 or 5 bites, I don't even taste whatever flavor it is anymore. It's just cold. And and I mean, at that point, I can either decide to keep going because typically if I'm doing something like a creamy to me is like less than a gram net carb most of the time. So it's not really going to impact me if I have it. But at the same time, if I'm not really tasting it, should I just put it back, put it in the freezer and try again tomorrow where I don't need to eat it? And these are all questions I never had before. These are all questions that would never come into my mind before because I would just mindlessly eat. Whether it was macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes, pizza. Pizza was a thing I would just mindlessly eat. I would eat a whole large pizza and not even think about it. I don't even know if I would taste it the whole time. And I mean, same thing now. Like if I'm having a steak, I'll taste the steak. At least I know I'm tasting the first few bites. But am I tasting it all the way through? I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. Cindy agrees that keto chow is yummy. Keto chow is delicious. And and it's one of those things like I wouldn't say that just because I'm an affiliate with them. I'm an affiliate with them because I like the product and I like the company. So I'm very picky in particular on the companies that I work with. And Jennifer Lucas says, I'm finally at a point I can ask myself, would you rather have this or a steak? And I would rather have the steak. And a lot of times that's the way that it is. Sometimes I'll make a steak for Chandra and make myself some burger patties because I'm thinking, do I want steak or do I want burger patties? And sometimes I'm making steaks. That night she'll have a steak for dinner. And then I'll cut up a couple of steaks and make her lunches for when she goes to work. And I'll just have burger patties because I really enjoy that. I haven't had food today. I've just had my coffee, but I am not even sure what I'm gonna have today, but I did make a whole bunch of chili. I took, 3 pounds of ground beef and 2 pounds of ground sausage and made chili the other day, and I've got most of it left, and I'll probably be eating that for the next couple of days. I've got some chicken thighs in the refrigerator that need to be cooked. I probably rip them in half and put half in the freezer so they don't go bad. I have a, Costco rotisserie chicken that I broke apart the other day. I bought that. I get it home. I let it cool down some. 'Cause if you're not careful, you'll burn your hands on those chickens. They're so hot when you get them home. But just the simplest things that I can do to stay motivated. Um, let's see. Jennifer says she's going to try the taco soup mix to season ground beef. I'm thinking taco bowls for the kids next time they come over. That sounds amazing. Taco bowls, cheese, some sour cream. Mm. Jeremiah says, I honestly don't think anything tastes like it did when we were kids. Candy tastes weird. Most of the fast food has no flavor, but it's easy and convenient. Yeah, 100%. Like now, to me, I think a regular McDonald's cheeseburger, just the single or the double, still has that flavor when I was a kid. It's very sweet. Like the bun is sweet, the ketchup is sweet if you get ketchup on it. Anymore, I just usually get it with just like mustard, pickles, and onions. I don't even get ketchup on it. And that's if I even get a bun. But a lot of things don't taste the same. Like I used to love getting the peanut buster parfait from Dairy Queen, and that was amazing. I haven't had one of those in probably at least 15 years. It's been a long time since I've had one of those. And I almost can guarantee you they're probably smaller than they used to be, which is probably better for me. But they're probably way more expensive, smaller serving size. And that's the thing, like the serving size of all the things that we used to eat that were bad have gone down. That's the one thing, like, you get a pound of steak, you're getting a pound of steak, but you gotta be careful because some of the prepackaged steaks or bison or whatever you're looking at the grocery store will be in different sizes. They'll be like, "Oh, this is 12 ounces instead of 16 ounces." And you think, "Well, what's 4 ounces?" Well, that's a whole serving as far as, the Food and Drug Administration is concerned or the RDA or whatever letter agency that is. But yeah, like back to Jeremiah's point is it does make it easier for me to stay motivated because I know that when I go out to try to eat some of this stuff, I'm going to be disappointed. I'm cheap. I don't want to be disappointed. Like on Valentine's Day, we did the wife and I we ended up being at a dealership trying to get our kid into a new car, and that kind of put the kibosh on a lot of our plans for that night, which was fine because we do whatever we can for the kids. Our plans, though, had been to order in something and watch a movie. And by the time we got done at the dealership, anything we would have ordered in was already closed. So we were maybe going to get some Thai food, whatever. That was going to be closed. So we ended up just going to Walmart and we ended up getting trash food. We got some packets of ramen noodles, which is the weirdest thing. Like here we are, we're adults. We're going to be 45 this year, and we go and get, some ramen noodles. Well, I can't believe they're 30 cents a package now. Remember they used to be like 15 cents a package, but time, inflation and all that stuff. It's been a long time since it's been almost a decade since we kept ramen noodles in the house. That was always a thing that we kept in the house. We would buy the bundle packs of the ramen noodles and keep it in the house because that was a quick, easy meal if we didn't feel like cooking. If the kids wanted something, well, there's ramen noodles over there. Make yourself a package or two, which is 2 or 4 servings. And that's just the craziest thing to me. Like, we also got some pot stickers and we got some egg rolls, and those were all gross. They didn't taste the way we wanted them to. It's fine. We didn't eat them, but that ramen noodles slap though, you know. Jeremiah says absolutely. Money used to get, let's see, used to get the 99-cent Wendy's junior bacon is like $3 now and half the size. Wendy's is doing something right now, and I don't know necessarily if it's something we should talk about, but Wendy's put out a press release, I think it was yesterday, that they're going to toy around with surge pricing on their menu. So if you pull in at noon, you may pay one price. If you and then somebody behind you gets there at 12:05, they may pay a different price than you just paid for the same food. And that's insanity. I don't understand that one single bit. And I'm sure they're looking at their bottom line, but when I was doing DoorDash, I wouldn't even take Wendy's orders anymore because I took a couple of Wendy's orders and I would go to pick up the stuff and I would go to the drive-through and like, "Hey, we don't have this, or whatever." And I'm like, "Well, what do you have? Do you have anything that my people ordered?" "Nope." "Then why are you open?" And come to find out, their GM wouldn't even let them close. They'd be out of soda. They'd have no soda. They'd have no meat, no burgers, no cheese, no frosty, and they would still be open. And this went on for a while. Like I DoorDash for maybe 2 months. And I went in one time and like they didn't have any sodas. Like for whatever reason, somebody had ordered Wendy's, and I guess they were having like a sleepover or something because they ordered like 8 kids meals or something like that, and a whole bunch of drinks and all this stuff. And I had to get just lemonades and teas, just all lemonade or whatever it was, because they didn't have any sodas. And it took them forever to put the order together. It was not even, they weren't even busy. There was nobody in the drive through. Still took them forever to put it all together. So I just stopped taking orders from them because when you're doing DoorDash, time is money. So yeah. Jennifer says if Wendy's gets away with that, the others will follow. I think it's important to get as many people as possible to boycott them. Hopefully, we can convince them that surge pricing is costing them. The internet is roasting them like crazy right now. Like, yeah, the internet is going to town on them. So I imagine they are not probably very in a very good place right now because they can't even keep their franchisees stock. They can't keep workers. They can't keep like the one in our town. Like I remember one day I had saw that they had these new strawberry frosties, and I was like, that sounds really good. Off plan day. It was near my birthday. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get a large fry and I get a strawberry frosty. And I pull up and it's 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they are closed for the night already because they didn't have anybody show up to work. And that's a whole other different thing than the staffing and the ability to keep stock is a whole other thing. But anyway, yeah, I was just like, what? But that's the way it was. So I was just like, well, Wendy's is basically that's like the only one really nearby is the one in the town the town over from where I live. I'm like, okay. And they don't even they and so one thing that I like to do is I like to go to different fast food restaurants and get the single get like just patties, just plain burger patties and see how they taste and what they cost. And I went to that Wendy's in my town, and they were going to charge me full burger price for individual patties. So a patty with no bun, no lettuce, no nothing. They were going to charge me like the $3 for a patty. No, no way. I'm going to pay that for like a 2 ounce patty. No. And I know there's convenience, but that goes above and beyond the convenience fee. McDonald's sells theirs for like they sell their quarter pound patty. I think that their quarter pound patties are $1.19 plus tax. At least that's the last time I went to McDonald's. And I kind of after that, I was like, well, I'm just going to kind of give up. I don't even know what they're charging anymore. But yeah. And Lynn's asking if I totally stopped doing the DoorDash thing. So I basically gave up DoorDash because the last few times I did DoorDash, I was sitting because like there's like a parking lot over near where all the food is in my area, where basically all the orders come from. I mean, there's like there's a sushi place. There's a KFC, a Wendy's. There's a Five Guys over there. There's all the places. There's a BW3s. There's all the food places. And I would sit there and wait for orders to come in. There's a Taco Bell, Cadoba, all that. And they kept sending me these $2 orders. Now that's the base pay for DoorDash per order is $2. So if you're somebody who orders DoorDash, you're paying whatever the cost of the food, plus all these delivery fees and extra add-on fees, convenience fees, surge pricing fees, and $2 is all that goes to the driver unless you tip. And I understand that the tipping culture is kind of a hot button issue right now, but as a driver, I'm looking at these orders and they want to give me 50 or they want to give me $2 to drive 10 miles. So I got to go pick up the food from the restaurant, which takes time. And I get back in my car and drive 10 miles to deliver this food. And then I don't get another order until I go back 10 miles and get back in the ordering zone most of the time. So that's $2 for 20 miles. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make financial sense. So I would decline all those orders. I would take a $2 for a 1 mile order. If it's 1 mile, I'll take $2, $3 for a mile all day long. Take those all day long. I'm probably still going to lose money, but you know, then there would always be like, well, maybe, then people would take orders at tip, but they're very weird about giving those orders to people because if you don't have a 70% acceptance rate or higher or whatever it is, you don't get the big tip orders. But if you're trying, in order to get the big tip orders, you've got to basically lose money for a long time. And then even still with the big tip orders, every time you decline an order, if you decline an order, your percentage goes down. And then it can come back around again and they may add 50 cents to it. So it was $2 and then nobody took it, and it comes back around. Now they're going to give you 250 and you decline it again, then that further reduces your percentage. It didn't make any sense. I was losing money, gas money, time. Time is money. People typically don't even think about how much time is money. How much is an hour of your life worth? Is your hour of life worth 7.25 an hour? And I know we have to work, we have to make money, we have to pay bills, we have to do all these things. But when you break it down to what does an hour of your life, how much is that worth to you monetarily? How much is that worth to you? How much are you worth? What is your value? What skills do you bring that would demand more of your time? Those are questions that you kind of have to ask. And if you're sitting there doing DoorDash and someone's like, hey, I'll give you $2 to drive 10 miles. No, it's not worth it. But then again, then you're sitting there for an hour without taking any orders. And so then you're just wasting time anyway. So I stopped doing DoorDash because they didn't offer me a compelling reason to continue. And that's kind of circles back around with the whole thing of fast food. Like fast food itself, the actual food, it doesn't offer a compelling reason for me to continue to eat that food when it doesn't make me feel good. It's not cost effective. It's bad for me because of the seed oils and the buns and the carbohydrates and the sugars. And I don't feel good and it's not cost effective. So circling back around to something like that, does that like even if you are getting a good deal on some food, you're getting, even if you're getting some low cost food, how does that impact the quality of your life? Does That's like, you know, the question of what's better for you is like eating a pound of ground beef that's $4 a pound or $3 a pound in your area. Is that going to get you further than eating $1 worth of ramen noodles? Are you gonna feel better eating the ramen noodles? And I mean, if you doing what you gotta do and you don't have any money, I guess that's a whole other ball of wax. But people are, they say things like, well, that's too expensive. I can't afford to eat that food. you have to look at, well, what's your quality of life worth too. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Um, Jeremiah says, Hardee's by my work. I get two sides of eggs, two sides of bacon, three sausage patties, and it's about 6.50. Yeah, that's the thing is like when I went, there was a Wendy's that I went to up on a different side of town, and they gave me burger patties. They were $1.79 a piece, which is kind of gross. And then, but the bacon was like two pieces for $1, or maybe two pieces for 50 cents or 60 cents or something like that. So I got like eight pieces of bacon. And it was funny because they gave me like four spoons. Like, no, this is for me. They're like, it's like, tell me you think I'm fat without telling me you think I'm fat by giving me four people's worth of stuff for eight pieces of bacon. And Lynn asks, 22Q Cat says, "Oh, that's horrible. How can you make any money?" And that's the thing is they have two ways of running DoorDash. They have hourly, and they have the by order. So you choose what order you take. But if you take the hourly rate, it's usually like 12.50 an hour. But then you have to take every order they send you. I think you get one decline an hour. So I mean, then you're basically taking all those orders that nobody else wanted to take. So you're basically still not making any money whatsoever. You may be making 12.50 an hour, but you're probably spending $12 in gas or whatever. I don't know. Jen says you could probably do well doing odd jobs in my neighborhood. Old folks need mattress turned or storage rooms cleaned out, etc. Yeah. I was thinking about maybe trying to do some video editing, thumbnail creation, things that could help me move myself forward as well as make some money. I'm probably going to go work at Costco and see how that works out as well. Um, Jennifer says Rachel recently said a chicken sandwich at Wendy's is $9. We've got to do better here for now. Well, that's the thing is I think that they are pushing that narrative that if you're paying people more money, then the chicken sandwich is going to be super more expensive. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know what their overhead is. I don't know what all the costs are. I don't run a restaurant, so I don't know. $9, and then Lynn 22Q Cat says $9. I'm glad I actually like to cook for myself, and I'm too cheap to pay that. That's the thing that I've been doing for the last 8-9 years with keto is I don't go out to eat unless it's something compelling. Like we'll go out on date nights and we'll go to BW3s and we'll spend a lot of money doing that. Now, can we make wings cheaper at home? Yeah. But sometimes the value added to going out to dinner is you don't have to cook. You can just spend the time waiting for the food to come to you. Someone else is cooking it. You don't have to clean up after, and you get to spend time with your significant other without worrying about all the other stuff. There's a value added to that. The same thing with going to like a Mexican restaurant and getting fajitas, holding the tortillas, the beans and rice, and all of that, and just having the meat and the veggies, or going and getting, steaks, or going and getting seafood, all the things I have alive that we talked about, all the best places to go out to dinner, like for date night, if you're doing like a low carb keto lifestyle. So those things, there's a definite value added to that. So I don't have to do dishes. That's a huge value. For me, going out to Rockstar Pizza in Brownsburg, Indiana, and getting a keto pizza means I don't have to fuss with making the fathead dough. I don't have to cook it. I can sit there and Shane and I can talk, or whoever and I go and have lunch and we can talk. Like the other day, a friend of mine, we went to go to a place called Yummy Bowl, which is a Mongolian grill. And he and I just talked. We went up, we put all you basically, they give you a bowl, you put all your stuff in the bowl. You choose what you want. You decide if you want the rice, noodles, whatever. And if you don't want that, obviously you just check no, please, none. And then you just pick out your beef, your chicken. They had lamb, they had shrimp. You can pick your sauces, your spices. If you want some onions, they'll throw that in there. You can cut a couple eggs in there. Is it probably the cleanest? No. Is it a compelling offering? Yes, because then I don't have to cook, I don't have to clean, I can have time with a friend of mine. We have an excuse to get together and talk and hang out and then enjoy a meal. There's a definite value added to that. Definite value addedness, or there's definite value being added at that point that I can't get just cooking on my own. Jeremiah says, I used to go to Taco Bell and eat like kings for $12 for two people. Now a value meal is $11.79. I used to go and get food for five people. So me, Chandra, and the three kids, and we would get, it would probably be like $17 for all of us. And that would be like, what, because Chandra eat these specific kind of chicken cheese burrito things. I like the crispy, the crunchy beef burritos that were $1. I'd get a bunch of those crunch wraps. You just get whatever you wanted, and it was like $20, less than $20 for five people. I don't even think I could go to Taco Bell now and get food for less than $20 for me. So that's the thing. And then 22Q Cat says you should be hired right away at Costco since you're their very best customer. That is kind of true. We did spend enough last year at Costco to get two free. We don't get that. They give you cash you out, then you pay for your membership. But I spent enough to get 2% cash back, enough to pay for an executive membership twice. So they're $120 a piece. We got we got like $250 back, or whatever it was, like $250 total. So $120 went to them, and I got the other 100 and whatever back. And just for transparency, and for 2% cash back to get the $120 to spend on their membership, you have to spend $6,000 at Costco. But to be fair, understanding that there are purchases that we make at Costco just because we ensure that we're making those purchases. So, like last year, we bought like a laptop, we bought a new washer and dryer for our kids. There's things that purchases that we'll make through Costco just because we know it adds to the membership and we'll get a free membership. So it's not like, I mean, we didn't spend, $6,000 in chickens. I mean, you could do that, but the chickens, that value added chicken, $5 for rotisserie chicken, that's reason enough to have a membership right there in of itself. Jen says, I can't compel anyone to go to El Carousel with me. I'm not even sure I know what that is. I have a buy one, get one free pizza coupon for Rockstar. Oh, that's cool. Is that for whatever they have, or is that like, could you get buy one, get one free keto pizzas? Let me know. Keep me posted on that. Lynn says, I don't mind paying higher prices at regular restaurants. It's the atmosphere and being waited on, but $9 for a sandwich at a place like Wendy's. Exactly. And I mean, and there's value addedness with, like, when we're on road trips and we just we want to drop in, pick up some food that we can eat on the way to kind of keep us satiated. I mean, like, because typically when we go on a road trip, we're caravanning. There's two vehicles involved because we usually go on vacation with the whole family, and that's two vehicles driving to Alabama, Florida, wherever. We've driven to Colorado before, and so I mean, there's definite value added with that. That in and of itself, there's value added with that. Just dropping in like on a vacation, something like that, getting fast food because it's quick, it's easy, it's not necessarily cheap, but it's also doesn't take the time of a sit down restaurant. So, um, Sandy says, if I was closer, I would go with you anytime, Jennifer. Oh, that's so sweet. Cindy, let's see. Cindy, I think they just prefer something besides Mexican food. I like Mexican food sometimes. Lynn says, I live right here near Brownsburg and have never been to Rockstar Pizza. I'm so lame. Well, let me know when you want to go and maybe we can go. If you want to, let me know. Stacy is here. Ken had to Google the topic from last night too. What did he think about that? And I'll tell you what, like the idea that, it's like it's all fun and games until somebody comes in and you're like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So that's the funny thing. So yeah. So she was talking about the topic from last night. It wasn't really the topic of last night, but it was a definite topic of or the topic that we discussed last night. But yeah, let's see. So Stacey says, "Say what?" Jennifer Lucas says it says free pizza with purchase of same. So that would be like one of those things. You just go in and you order the 30-inch pizza, you get a 30-inch pizza for free. But I couldn't do that to them. But I would say like ordering, an actual keto pizza would be worth it for that because it's so good there. I love that place. I love Rockstar. Shout out to Ron for that place. Uh I did too. Cindy says I did too. I had to watch the replay. Oh my goodness! I had to take a screenshot of that, Cindy, and send it to Shander last night. We ended up being up late, and then the storms rolled through, so we were up even almost a little bit later than normal because the storm. We had some pretty rough storms roll through last night, and yeah, like tornado sirens are going off and all that fun stuff. But I don't know. How did you guys fare out where you are? Did you guys get those storms? How's everybody in the chat? Watching this, did anybody get those? Anybody get those kind of storms last night? Mm. I'm hoping that by doing these lives here vertical and being in the short shelf, that I am bringing in new people. I haven't seen anybody new in the chat today, which is not normal. Like the last couple of weeks, I've been seeing more people in the chat, new people coming in, new people talking, and all that stuff. Um, And the first week that I did one of these, I got 15 subscribers. And the last 2 weeks in a row, I've got 9. And I'm hoping that maybe that'll be something that can continue because growing the channel, growing the community, being able to reach out and help more people, being a beacon in the community, being a beacon here on YouTube. Hopefully, other people will find this channel, find this community, and realize that they aren't lost. They aren't in a situation that's hopeless, helpless. They are in a situation where they can find similar people going through the things that they're going through. So that's why I want to say, like, that's the importance of like staying motivated for me is staying, like I said, the importance of staying motivated for me is hopefully to do these kinds of things, stay vigilant, stay as a light for everybody that maybe will find us in the short shelf and all that stuff. Let's see. Last Stacy says last night ended up with the most views of all your videos, Dustin. I don't know about that. I don't know. Like the Tuesday live last week had the most views of any of our Tuesday lives with like almost 300. Last night was like 70 something like that. So I don't know. Jeremiah said he slept right through it. I don't know. Like it's like someone was trying to kick our door down last night. It was hitting our door that hard. Uh yeah, I have let's see. Yeah, I have skirting to push back in place. Cindy said, should have stayed home from bowling last night. I fell and now I'm ridiculously sore. The ball got stuck in my hand. I tried to take it with me. Oh my goodness, Cindy. I'm so sorry. That's not good. But you can't say like you didn't know that was going to happen, and you can't just stay home because of that kind of thing. Get back on the horse and keep a riding. What time is it? Yeah, Shander should be going to pick up the girl from school. Wednesday is a short day for her. Let's see. I was very windy here last night and this morning. Had thunderstorms this morning. Lynn says the rain and wind woke me up last night, but I went right back to sleep. It didn't have time. I didn't have time for that tornado nonsense. Well, we were awake because Tuesday nights is a late night for us anyway, because we do our Tuesday night live. Shander and I do that until we go live at 7 to about 8:30-ish, 8:30, 8:45. And then I go on, I do a live at 9:30, and that goes for about 3 hours. So that live goes to about 3 hours. So we're like 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30. Between 12:30 and 1 o'clock is when that one ends. And then I would come downstairs and Shander was still downstairs. So I decided to make a pound of bacon in the middle of the night at like 12:30 at night. So I made a pound of bacon and her and I hung out. And we watched some more of a show that we like. We've been watching Resident Alien on Netflix. We've been really liking that show. It's funny. And we know there's a third season on Sci-Fi and a fourth season maybe to come. So we're on season 2. So I like to bowl. Maybe one of these days we'll get together and bowl sometime. I don't know if we'll bowl near you or near us, but hopefully we'll get a chance to bowl sometime, Cindy. Um, Cindy says, you're right. I had a couple of frames to finish up after the fall. Did you finish? Did you finish? Can I finish? I miss Ross Perot. He was fun. Um, Jennifer Lucas says, I'm terrible at bowling. Can't get a straight line as I bring the ball in the curve around my hip. Oh. You should do the granny thing, or you can get the whole like where you lift the ball and just drop it down on the metal frame thing, like what kids do, and it goes all the way down. You can do that. You can do that. You can do anything you want to do. You can do it all. Are there anybody watching? Is there anybody watching that's new? Comment in the chat. I want to know where you are, who you are, what you've got going on, what compels you, what are you looking for, what keeps you motivated. Like I said, it's very important to me to continue doing these things because this helps me stay motivated. If it helps you, it'll help me. I'm trying to keep in frame here. Oh, she did finish. That's what I'm saying. That's right. Give a round of applause to Cindy for finishing her game of bowling last night. I am so very proud of you, Cindy. You're my hero. You are my hero, Cindy. Thank you. And let's see. Jennifer said that would be embarrassing. I fall all the time. I don't care. I fall. It's fine. That's one thing I want to take the girls skating, but I'm afraid that we'll fall and I'll fracture a hip or something. I'll just be like immobile for a while. Cindy, there is a woman in our Monday league who I am guessing has lipidemia. She kicks butt. That's right. New? Hope I'm old, very old. Nope. We love you, Lynn. I think I broke my finger last time we went bowling. It hurt for months, and now it's just a little crooked. That's fine. You didn't need that finger anyway. You know that? You didn't need it anyway, Jeremiah. Jeremiah was a bullfrog and is a good friend of mine. Say hello to Jeremiah. Spending time with family and friends fills my heart and gets me past the daily challenges. That's the thing is daily challenges if you have somebody to connect with, somebody to commiserate with, somebody who understands your challenge makes it less of a challenge. It really does. And that's the thing, like this community is so amazing. This community is so very paramount for my own success, my own motivation, because it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy because I continue to do this to stay motivated, to to hang out with you. So you keep me motivated, and then I keep staying motivated, keep coming, just round and round and round. And Cindy says she was terribly embarrassed. All those people coming, making sure I was okay. What would it have been better if they were like, and then threw nachos at you? I think it's better that they were asking you were okay. Unless you really wanted some nachos, free nachos, floor nachos. Nachos sound delicious. Anyway, I'm a mess. Anyway, how is everybody doing besides Cindy because you fell? But you know how it goes. It is strange that we didn't have any new people in the chat today. No new people coming in and finding us. Maybe the algorithm is playing a little different than it has been in the last couple of weeks. I'm sure that the initial views that I got on my live were like 600 or something like that, something crazy. The first one I did where I was just doing the dishes instead of just coming in focusing strictly on all of you. Um, so I don't know. Maybe it's not showing up in the shorts feed as much. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to continue to do these. They may not always be on Wednesday. It really just depends on how the job is going. Um, I still need to find someone to sit down with me on Saturday because Jason from Just Jason Keto and More had to postpone his session with me Saturday morning. So if anybody wants to come on with me Saturday, reach out to me and we'll talk. We'll get together for Saturday morning sit down and we'll talk for an hour, hour and a half or whatever. So yeah, and I still need to put out a community tab post about that. Looking for anybody who may want to come on. You know, Sylvia Spillett. So I'm listening, doing housework, and taking care of my mom with dementia. That's a rough one. I know. Luckily, like I dealt with my great grandfather who had dementia, and that is rough. That's one of the most rough things to deal with. Like it's just terrible. Like it's one of the worst things. So I wish you the best on that. And I know that there is like the different like the Alzheimer's and the thing like that. Like I know that Amy Berger has a book about Alzheimer's, and I'm not exactly sure like what the differences are between Alzheimer's and dementia. Like if there's a clinical difference between the two. Um, but yeah, that's just rough. And bless you. Yeah, 100%. Jennifer says, bless you. She took care of her husband's for 12 really rough years. That's just one of those things. Like, let's see. When rumors get around about last night, you may get a new person or two. I don't know. We'll see. It was funny. But, I don't know. It was kind of embarrassing at the end because, like, I know Neely came in and I was like, and it's like I know that I want people to, have fun and laugh, but I'm always a little weird about my sense of humor bleeding into and kind of getting that response from people or, I don't want to make people weird or whatever. So there are many dementia. Alzheimer's is just the most common dementia. Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't completely sure. I just know that there are. I know that like the Alzheimer's anecdote by Amy Berger talks about a lot of things with like keto and fats and ketones and all that stuff. Um, yeah, that's just one of those things. Like it's like I know, like even with my mom had strokes and heart attacks and stuff, and she was in a nursing home, and even like that nursing home living is just one of those. I just don't want. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I wouldn't wish anybody to live in a nursing home or or even like the nursing home system in of itself is just a tragic state of affairs. And I know my great grandfather was in one for dementia, and it's just that like it's just so rough. Like and that's one thing that scares me the most is like I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to lose myself like that or have someone take care of me. So yeah. But I appreciate you, Sylvia. And I appreciate you for what you do for your mom, and I imagine she does in some aspects, and I know, but it's probably seems to be a thankless job doing that. And I worry though too. I worry about our future and how much dementia and Alzheimer's is going to impact us across the few like in the next 10, 15, 20 years. How are those numbers going to spike? And I know they're working on drugs to combat dementia and Alzheimer's, and I know they're working on pharmaceuticals, but I don't think they're going to be able to put back the damage or fix the damage done in which causes Alzheimer's and dementia. The connection breakage, the synapses firings that aren't connected, the memory loss, it's just not there. Though I don't think they're going to be able to fix that, even with something like Neuralink and those type of, even with a hardware system. I just don't think. That's why one of the biggest things that keeps me motivated to kind of round this out is mental clarity, just having the ability to feel alive. And that's something that I didn't feel before. Living in HD almost. That was one of the moments that I knew that I was going to be keto forever, or low carb, keto, that kind of this lifestyle was going to be a forever lifestyle, not just a diet that I did to lose weight. I was sitting in my office working and I'd had trouble staying awake. Like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I worked till 6 o'clock at night and I would be midday just dead. Couldn't keep my eyes open, just struggling. The struggle was crazy. Like just trying to go and find caffeine, sugar, anything just I could just put into my body to wake me up. I would sit there and start dozing off of my desk, and I was so worried I was gonna get fired as if I fell asleep at the desk. And then I remember a few months into keto, few months into keto, and just realizing that it was like 3 o'clock and I was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, alert, like I was living in HD. I didn't feel like I was foggy anymore. I didn't feel like I was wading through mud. If you've ever had those days where you're trying to do things like work or accomplish things for fun, and you just feel so foggy, you feel weighted down, you feel like you're going through life like like Atreyu in the mud bog or whatever in a never ending story, right? Where you're just trying to walk through that mud and you just can't get it and you just can't go and you just can't. Imagine that lifting all because of the food you eat or the food you don't eat in some aspects. And that fog lifting and that obstacle, that going through the muddy bog and just feeling like you can't quite ever get going, and that just lifts. And you know, at that moment, like I did, that I'm never going back. We'll have off-plan meals. We will. We're not perfect, but that's where the consistency aspect comes in. That's where everything for me comes in. Because I know that if I were to go back to a standard American diet, I would then have the brain fog, I would have the inability to, just to function on the level that I am now, and I won't do it. I just won't. I can't, because I know better now. I've seen it, and I know what it feels like, and I don't want to do that to myself. I don't have joint pain like I used to. I don't have to take heartburn medication like I used to. I don't have to take allergy medicine like I used to. And these are all things that I noticed in myself. And I can't guarantee that you'll feel these things because this is my journey. These are things that I've felt for me. These are the things that I have found that cause me to know without a shadow of a doubt that I am never going back. I'm not. I can't. I won't, because going through life that way is just it's a prison sentence. It's miserable, and there's no reason to. We've talked earlier in this stream itself that those foods don't taste the same as they used to. They don't carry the same weight, the same joy that they used to. And there's no reason to go back. There is just no reason to try to do that or eat those foods every day. Fast food, McDonald's, Dairy Queen, whatever. It doesn't, there's no reason. Now, not to say that you can't get healthy options at any of these places, because you can get burger patties and you can get a Coke Zero or a Diet Coke or whatever you like. And you can sustain with those things. Those can help with your consistency. But the French fries, the chicken nuggets, the bun, all of those things will inhibit how you feel. They inhibited how I feel. I don't want to feel like that anymore, and I won't. And Sylvia says, "Thanks, I need that." That is one of the things that keeps me motivated. You know. And Jennifer Lucas said, "It's brain health is one of my biggest whys." Mine too. I don't want to end up like my great grandfather. I saw him go through it. My and then my mom dealt with strokes. My mom dealt with diabetes her entire life. She had strokes, heart attacks, and died at the age of 59. I don't want to die at 59. My grandmother passed away a couple years ago. She lived to be 90. She beat cancer and then it came back and she passed away at 90. 90 is 90 is an age that I would be okay with. She was a trooper. But my mom was cut short. And that is another huge why. That was another reason that I felt hopeless, lost, and I felt like I was going to be just like her. That was going to be my fate. I was going to have heart attacks, strokes, and then I would just be gone, leaving sad people in my wake. And I didn't want that. And luckily, I found this lifestyle and I found that this does work for me. It is sustainable for me. I'm able to find consistency and motivation with you. Jen says that none of the drugs are helping yet. It has to be approached metabolically. Yeah, and I think they know that, but they're not going to make money doing that, whoever they are. Lynn says, yes, brain health, very important. I worry about that. I wish I had found the whole low carb keto thing a long time ago. 100%. I wonder if I could have found that out like when I was in my teens. I wish I could have found that and had my mom do it before she got to the way she was, before she had her strokes. I mean, not to say that I could have reversed anything, but at least I wish I would have known. I had no tools to help her. I had no knowledge to help her. I had to trust in a system to know I had to trust that the system that she was in knew what was best for her, and they obviously did not. And I feel like at times I failed her. That's something that I wrestle with on a consistent basis. I mean, I know deep down inside I didn't. I did everything that I possibly could for her, but that doesn't mean I don't wrestle with that and think about that late at night and think, if only I knew what I know now, I could have helped her. So that's one of my whys that I do this because I can't help her, but I might be able to help some of you. So I might be able to help someone else out there. It's where it's where it's not too late, where there's still time to turn things around, to find that hope where they're hopeless, to find the help where they're helpless. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's 100% legitimate. Like I literally think about this all the time. Like if only I had the information that I have, the knowledge that I have from doing what I've done for myself, for my mom, in enough time to where she could have benefited from it. Whether or not she'd be here now is no telling. Because along the way she lost who she was and she wasn't who, she wasn't herself by the time she passed away. But, I miss her. And I am hard on myself because I do at some level feel like I failed her because I did trust in a system that didn't have her best interest at heart. So I'm not going to fall for that shit again and trust in a system that doesn't have our best interest at heart. We have to have our best interest at heart. We have to do for ourselves. We have to try to find what's best for us because there's a whole society out there that doesn't really give a shit about us, you know, but that is what it is. I want to say thank you to my members. I don't know how well this is going to show up, but I have members. You guys are awesome. You help the channel move forward. Cindy says, oh, let's see. Sylvia's, let me go back up here. Sylvia says, I've been stalled on weight loss for 2+ years. Take a look at what you're taking in. Take a look at what you're doing. I imagine that there's a lot of it to do with stress. If you're taking care of a parent with dementia, there's a lot of stress. There's probably a lot of missed sleep. There's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of that. How can you work on any of that? Stress reduction, getting enough sleep, making sure your diet is make sure your diet is probably you probably need to worry more about the diet because of the stress and the sleep. But I just feel like that's going to be like one of the biggest reasons probably. Cindy says Brian's dad has Alzheimer's advanced stage and he has no idea who he is, much less who Brian is. Brian's mom had dementia, still knew who everyone was somewhat, confused about things, but got RSV and passed away in October. So, again, that's just it's so devastating to deal with that. Jennifer says, it's real. I know my IQ. I took a test when I was eating really bad. I took another IQ test and it was down a whopping, let's see. I know my IQ. I took a test when I was eating really bad and took another IQ test. It was down a whopping 40 points. I had my IQ test when I was in I had my IQ tested when I was in like middle school, but I don't know how accurate that is or how accurate that remains to be. Excuse me. Gino. Gino's in the house. Papa G Gaming. Hello, Gino. What's up, buddy? Brenda Foley's here. Good afternoon, Brenda. Hugs all around, Gino. I love hugs. Hopefully, we'll get together soon, Gino. We'll give you a real hug. I know I can't beat myself up over it. And I know, I mean, it's not a logical thing. It's not logical to beat myself up over it. But at the same time, it's one of those things like it, and it kind of creeps in at night. It creeps in some days. It creeps in and goes, even when I was getting with Shander, I was looking at buying a house I was looking to buy a house and looking to see if I could find a way to bring my mom out of the nursing homes, because she was in a wheelchair and where we were living, the doorways weren't wide enough to get the wheelchair in. There were just so many obstacles, you know. Yeah, Gino. I hope you have a good day at work. I hope you tonight give Felicia a hug from me. She gives you a hug, and hopefully Shannon and I can work out a night where we come and hang out with you guys during the week. Because weekends, as you know, are very difficult. Shannon doesn't get them. She works every weekend. So hopefully we can work that out and go do something, go out to dinner, something. Gino is a member. All right. So got that membership to help you grow. Thank you so very much. I'll get your name added to that. I don't think it's on there. Um, we need to definitely get together soon. I know Felicia could use a Shander day out. Yeah. And hopefully yeah, Shander could probably use that too. So I appreciate you so very much. Yeah. Yeah, that the weekend issue for her is a definite issue, but it opens up so much for us. I know, I mean, it's a lot better now than it would have been when the kids were young and sports and and all the things like that. So I mean, it's nice because now we can do stuff during the week. We can do what we want during the week. So that's really nice. It opens us to have the time to spend with our granddaughter every day, make sure she gets to and from school. I mean, we get a lot of naps. There's a lot of pluses. The major con, though, is most people can't hang out during the week. So we still try to hang out with people during the week. We still try to do that, and that gets in the way. But I think there's a lot of pros there, and it works, and it really helps us. So yeah, we'll definitely work on getting together because that's so very important. And yeah, I think we've been going for an hour and 10 minutes. I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day. You all mean so much to me. Any new people that have watched today, thank you so very much. I hope to see you guys next time. And yeah, we'll see you soon. And I'll be live on Saturday with either myself or somebody if I could find anybody. Yeah. All right, Gino, back to work. Have a good one, brother. Sending love. And we'll see you soon, everybody.